with Stuart, Brisgel, and David Solomon every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, noon Eastern. You think about it, we rant about it. Listen to us live on Facebook.
All right, everybody, there we go again. It sounds like a few seconds ago because I'm so excited about today. You know, David Solomon is in Montreal, so he doesn't have to deal with the issues we're going to talk about. My name's Stuart Brisgel. I'm in South Florida. And, you know, when this came up in the news, I was just kind of shocked. You know, did you know the IRS not only wants to get to know you, it wants to get to know everything about you as long as it's over $600. And I think, you know, most Americans in the United States, whether you're low income, middle income, or high income, you're making more than $600 a paycheck. So look at that. IRS would track all the bank transactions over $600. Yep. All right. So David's going to lead this off. I just wanted to throw that out there and go, David.
Yeah, well, Stuart, it's actually, you know what? The frightening thing is the more I thought about it over the weekend, first of all, this is a story that's gone virtually under the radar. And I know that people like to say, oh, it's another Fox News conspiracy. It must be Fox News conspiracy. I mean, for Pete's sake, there's no way that this could possibly be real.
Well, that's Yahoo. That's not Fox.
It's beyond real, folks. And in fact, here's another one. Oh, look, this is NPR.
Yep, I have that one on my screen.
So the thing that's scary about this is that this is not a Fox News conspiracy, ladies and gentlemen, and I'd like to put that aside for just a second. But if you actually YouTube Janet Yellen, IRS meetings, Congress, blah, 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 she talked about this. Now, here's the crazy thing, okay? So let's put into context. The IRS feels, and Janet Yellen said it, that they want to avoid people taking advantage of the system. Ergo, they are really wanting, apparently this is not an IRS idea. Apparently this is the Biden administration and the IRS who've both say, you know, this would be a great idea if banks and the thousands and thousands of banks across the US would squeal reports, call it whatever you want, on people's transactions, $600 or more. Now, I thought about it, you know, in terms of personal. But you know what? I over the weekend it hit me that it's not just the personal, it's not just you and me people. The Biden administration likes to purport itself as being there for the little guy. The Biden administration likes to talk about how they're trying to help small, mid-sized businesses because you know what? Mr. Trump, that son of a bitch, supported only his friends, those big companies. And he didn't care about the little guy. Nope. And he didn't care about those little businesses. And he didn't care if they all went under. Because look what he did during COVID and blah, 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 blah. All through the campaign, that's all we ever heard from the Democrats. Bad, bad, bad Donald Trump. Bad, bad Republicans. Bad, bad, bad right wing. Bad, 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 bad. Do you understand? Like, my father's a CPA. And he said, do you know who are the worst people to small to mid-sized businesses?
Yep.
The revenue people, the IRS, Revenue Canada, they're the worst people. They cause unnecessary bureaucracy, additional costs, time consumption, wastes. The Biden administration, who purports to be spending the time helping the little guy, is now would add, if this goes through, a massive layer of bureaucracy on people who are good, who don't cheat, but now I have to prove each and every transaction $600 or more. And Stuart, tell me what small business doesn't have transactions of $600 or more.
So, okay, let's sort of talk about this. David, I put up a slide if you want to just bring it up here. There used to be something called a taxpayer bill of rights. And that's number 8, and that's on the IRS website. And that is the right to confidentiality. David, I can't share that. You have to.
Yeah.
Yep. So, but let's talk about this. I'm a upstanding citizen. I take my bank statements. I send them off to my accountant. Everything I do is digital. So I don't hide anything, right? And there are some people who, you know, get paid $600 of cash and understand why they would rightfully be upset. But, you know, here is where it comes a slippery slope. You're right. The IRS wants us now to prove each and every single transaction. Now, as a business, if I get choked by any more oversight, I don't know if I'll have a business, right? Which is a massive problem. You know, during the pandemic, the small business was shut down, but Walmart remained open. You know, is the government that was, on the totem yelling and screaming that we're for the people, as you said, and we're for the little guy, and we're for small guy, and we're for small business. Were they really a Trojan horse to just eviscerate the common class, the middle class, and the low income class? Because all I seem to think that they want to do is they want to just let the rich get richer. And we're not talking the rich, we're talking just those rich people, the people that are on the Democratic Party. Because if you're not, you're the enemy and they hate you.
Well, here's a crazy thing. This came straight out of the Wall Street Journal, and this freaked me out a little bit. Because of this stupid infrastructure bill, amongst other things, that they're trying to purport and push and blah, blah, blah. According to the IRS, if they're actually allowed to do this, they would audit, quote, more effectively. They claim that they can generate about $460 billion over a decade to cover the costs. $460 billion to cover the cost of the Democrats' planned expansion of the social safety net, blah, 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 according to the Biden administration. Now, I'm sitting here and I'm thinking, wait a second. Again, stupid. The whole notion, and we talked about this, Stuart, about Ms. AOC's idea of tax the rich. This is the tax the rich.
Your new girlfriend? Isn't AOC?
Yeah. God help me. It's not just this is not about taxing the rich. This is about hurting the little guy. This is about hurting a guy, a company, a person, or an organization, small, struggling. And I mean, let's put it this way. If you recall our friend John, the restaurant owner in Florida, who was on our show a few months ago, I mean, every time he pays a supplier for food, drink, or whatever, my guess, he pays over $600 for all that stuff.
Yep.
Which means that John, who struggled through COVID, who struggled to make ends meet, is now going to get audited by the IRS, which causes an additional layer of work, money, cost, and time he doesn't have to prove.
How many more people does the IRS want to hire to be enforcement agents? Listen, I don't want the police. I want IRS enforcement issues. I don't want borders. I want to force everyone in the United States to be vaccinated and tested, but you can come in without it. I mean, it's rules for you, but not for me.
No, but the thing here is, again, Stuart, and again, this is just the Biden administration showing its really true colors, that it really isn't interested at all at helping the little guy. On this side of the table, it cries poverty, and it cries that the United States is in trouble, and we need to pass these now $5 trillion budget and all these kinds of things. But how are we going to pay for it? Not on the rich. We're going to tax. It's a new tax, and call it what it is. An audit is a tax. It's a new tax on the little guy. And I'm going to tell you, my father, who spent 40 plus years and is still a CPA, it's actually going on 50 years. Yep. He will tell you that every single time the IRS or Revenue Canada show up at your door for an audit, you are unproductive. It's a money loser. And you spend more time defending yourself than proving yourself. Stuart, the vitriol here it's unreal. Again, it is a proof positive that the Biden administration has zero understanding of reality. Its only understanding is, I'm going to hide reality from the small guy so that they can continue to vote for me because I'm really looking out for their best interest.
Well, listen, the undocumented don't file taxes. Most low income, I believe, also don't file taxes. And if they do, they file through like an H&R Block. And, there is no affordable way to also deal with an audit. Because if you've ever been through an audit, your accountant's going to charge you hundreds and hundreds of dollars an hour. And the IRS doesn't care. And
I know.
If you think that the Biden administration is looking out after you, you need to really, 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 think twice.
Well, and I think what you just hit is the nail on the head. Is we don't spend the time to really. I mean, yesterday when I saw that there were 2,500 pages in the proposed infrastructure bill, 2,500 pages. Nobody in their right bloody mind is reading 2,500 pages.
Well, you know what? But this is they intentionally do this. I mean, the Republicans have been guilty of this as well.
I'm not suggesting it's a Democratic way. It's all of them.
You know, would be productive.
No, God help me.
That every single senator and congressman had to sign a statement saying they read and affirmed everything that's in the bill.
Listen. I'm sorry to say, but that was like a beautiful view. They took the whole thing and they held it up like this, and they costed out so many dollars, billions of dollars per page, and the Republicans made a show of it. And I'm like, you know what, guys? I'm sorry if I changed the clock a few years. You're no better. So stop being such morons and tell me how much it costs per page and whatever. At the end of the day, you're asking to spend, whether it's 3.5 or 5 trillion. The numbers are astronomical. I'm not even going to get into that, because good luck, Ms. Pelosi and the rest of the Democratic Party this year, because you guys are full of it. But what I see here going totally under the radar, where Janet Yellen is in front of a congressional committee and is saying, no, you know what? We just don't want people to game the system. I'm sorry. Like, what are you doing? You're going to ask the banks. This is the cockeyed thing. You're going to ask the banks to be your squealers, right? What happened to, and you and I talked about this, at one point, if you put in a transaction over $10,000, I get it. Okay, that's a big number still.
But the funny thing is $10,000 should be a $100,000 transaction.
Well,
How many $10,000 transactions? I mean, listen, everything has grown, but except that one figure. I mean, it's been $9,999 for the last.
Oh, well, listen, if you cross the border between our two countries and the $10,000 that they're talking about has been around for decades. But I'm saying today, IRS going after $600 transactions. I mean, how many millions and millions of transactions are we talking about that you're now imposing on the banks to now be your little Gestapo? And I'm using that word again.
Damn. You get angry at me when I drop those words.
No, you called somebody Hitler. It's not the same thing. I'm saying little Gestapo. Like, I'm sorry. The notion of right now, we have so much information. There's so much information that the government has on us. And now they want to go even further. I mean, the notion, what's next? If you could say every bank transaction, why won't they go to Visa and MasterCard and Amex and Discover and say,
hold it. Amex woke up. Amex should voluntarily do this.
Well, what I'm saying is, I don't care. I know how much you love your Amex people, but I'm saying to you, where does it end?
It doesn't.
The banks are not a government institution. The banks.
Well, that's another thing. Biden administration wants to make the banks nationalized. Well, and I think everyone in America should be very, very scared.
Let me tell you, in Canada,
in
Canada, the banks here are government. Are government. There's a regulation, a very, very tight regulation here, which saved us in the 2008 recession, contrary to what other people believe, thanks to Mr. Harper, our prime minister. But we don't have banks like Freddie Mac and rest of those, Fannie Mae or whatever they are, who go bankrupt, whatever. There isn't any of that mortgage
lending institution. They're not banks, but
the
banks.
Truth is, if I look at Bank of America and if I look at all the rest of those guys, are you really telling me? And I mean, are you really, really telling me that you want these banks, who are private institutions, to be the IRS's little minions and pawns to squeal? It scares the crap out of me, Stuart. Frankly, it scares me, because you have the banks should not do the bidding of the IRS ever. And you know what? Stuart is poking me here, but time is up. Now, unfortunately, many of you didn't see this live because Facebook is down. How dare you?
Is it because we're talking about the Biden administration?
No,
and IRS? Is there a conspiracy?
Facebook is down. So probably many of you have seen this on as a recording, and that's perfectly fine. Which leads me to, Stuart, the fact that you can always check out our recordings. You can go to our YouTube channel to check out recordings. You can download the podcast. In fact, I know people who've downloaded a podcast and have listened to it in the car, and we thank you and we love you for all that.
Yep.
So, folks, we will be back here again on Wednesday.
Yep.
And Friday,
Yep.
and next Monday, and next Wednesday, and next Friday, and all of these Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays
Do
live.
you know we've been doing this since February?
Yeah, man. You know what? It's been fun. And I have to tell you, it's actually kind of cool when someone walks up to you and says, you know, I love what you guys do. I'm scared to talk to my friends like that, but I'm so happy that you and Stuart do it this way, even though you might rub some people wrong by you guys.
Me rub someone wrong? Come on.
Not you. Us.
Now it's us.
Because I've been accused of many things since starting this rant. Folks, we love you. We thank you so much. Again, check us out on our YouTube channel. Our webpage isn't up to date. That's our apologies. We're still working on that. But folks, our YouTube channel, and anywhere where you get your podcasts, they have it all. They have it all. And by the way, if you're looking to sponsor our show, if you're looking to get involved with our show, love to hear from you. Just send us an email at Stuart. Where you can email us at?
rant@therantnetwork.com.
There you go. Remember, folks, here we go. rant@therantnetwork.com. You are more than welcome to send us, comments, feeler, whatever it is. We'd love to hear from you. Look forward to seeing you guys all on